Hello, everyone. It's so great to have you here. Wherever you're listening from, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Holly. I'm a holistic healer, spiritual development coach, modern day mystic, and spiritual medium. I'm a light worker, an eco warrior, a small business advocate, and the light working warrior woman of the Warrior Women Events Initiative. I aspire to inspire others to live happier, healthier, and more spiritual lives, to raise awareness of holistic healing and natural healing modalities, and to also help others to understand and develop their own spirituality, their spiritual practices, and their natural psychic abilities for holistic healing, personal empowerment, finding solutions to life's problems, and to find out where they're going in life. Now, this is episode 10 of my audio series that is entitled Wise Words Wednesday, and I'm enjoying it so much. All the episodes kind of range in length from 10 minutes to 25 minutes, really, and it's just to bring a little bit of inspiration and guidance and spirituality into your week, into your day. I hope if you have been listening that you have been enjoying it too. And if this is your first time listening, then all the previous episodes are available from various places across the internet and on various apps as well. They are also available to download for free from my website to listen to at your own leisure without the need to have an internet connection. So I'll give you details about all of that at the end after I've finished discussing what I plan to talk to you about this evening. Now, tonight's episode, I'm going to be talking about the power of your words. Now, I've heard it said that 90% of communication is actually non-verbal, that the timbre of our voice, our body language, and how we deliver what we say is much more important than actually the words that we use. And that is why I think often words can be misconstrued when we're communicating via text. You know, an email or instant messaging or text messaging or on Facebook, for example. You know, people often read things in the wrong context. And I think a lot of problems can be caused because a lot of people do a lot of their communication that way in the modern world that we live in. Now, as I said, because 90% of communication isn't what we say, but how we say it, then actually what I really mean here when I'm saying the power of your words is the energy behind the words that we say. How this reflects in the words that we use and the impact or influence that this has on ourselves and on other people. Now, there's no denying it that the words we use are a reflection of what is going on in our subconscious, what's going on inside of ourselves, that often we are completely unaware of. I would probably say more often than not we're completely unaware of. You know, when Freudian slips happen, they give clues as to how we really feel, and often how we phrase things reflects that as well. Often the way we describe ourselves or situations gives a lot away about our self-esteem, our inner issues, what is important to us and what our strengths are, or how we perceive the world. You know, as I said in last week's episode, if you caught it, is that, you know, what people say about you often says more about them than it does about you. Last week I talked about embracing your spirituality and why it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks or says about you and your beliefs. And it's often, like I said, if you are worried about what people are saying and, you know, people's judgments, what people are saying behind your back, you know, what they say about you, as I said, often says more about them than it does about you. So taking a look at the words we use lets us know what we're projecting out into the universe and what we are asking the universe for through the law of attraction, the law of karma, and other universal laws. Now, a lot of what I'm going to talk about tonight is a bit of a revisit to some of the things that I talked about in the episode on law of attraction that I did. If you are interested in the law of attraction, it's a huge interest of mine as well. So a lot of this you've probably heard before, or you are aware of anyway, so you're mindful of it. Now, have you ever pondered the fact that words are spelled? Now, anyone who practices magic or believes in the power of prayer or the power of our words knows that the words we use are very powerful, and that in both instances, our words are spells. The words we use, what we say, we're sending energy out or inviting things in and affecting the world around us. No matter if the words are spoken internally, whether they are spoken out loud or whether they are written, it all has an effect on the world around us. Or as I said, what we're inviting into our lives. If you speak kindly and positively, energies and emotions are lifted. People are uplifted. If you speak negatively and harshly, then energies drop and moods move to the lower vibrational end of the frequency. The lower end of the vibrational spectrum, where people become sad or angry or fearful or nervous or anxious. Now, there are 3 areas that I want to talk about briefly this evening. How our thoughts and words about others affect them. How our inner dialogue, so our thoughts and our words about ourselves, affect us. And how our thoughts and words to others affect them. So let's go. When we speak or think words about others, we are quite literally sending energy to them. Where attention goes, energy flows. I don't mean to keep referencing previous episodes, but I did mention this in a previous episode as well. An incredible spiritual medium that I know, well, I should say that I used to know, I haven't seen him for a long time, from Cardiff, in the 1970s was involved in research in Germany into the auric field, to auras. They were using special technology to take photographs of people's auras, known as Kirlian photography, and part of the experiment involved people in one room sending negative and hateful thoughts towards the person whose aura was being photographed. And the results actually showed that there was an image of a knife in the person's auric field. So if we are projecting negative thoughts and speaking negative words about people, either through gossiping or bitching or just constantly moaning about them, then we're actually having an effect on their auric field, a tangible effect on their auric field. This can affect their emotions, their thought patterns, and even their physical body. So we need to be careful about what we're saying and what we're engaging in. In the same way that prayers for love, support, and healing are taken and carried out by spirit of a high vibration, negative thoughts and negative words can also be taken and acted upon by spirit of a lower vibration. Now, it's not something that's talked about very often. I don't often hear people talking about it. But it's a reality that exists, and there is no light without darkness. After all, there is no yin without yang. So it might not be something that people have come across very often, but it's true. We can cause a lot of harm and damage to people by thinking and focusing on negative thoughts about them. So you have to choose your words and the way you focus your thoughts very wisely. Now, getting a handle on our thoughts can be difficult, and practice is needed. Mindfulness is a very valuable practice to cultivate. Getting a handle on your thoughts can be very difficult, yes, but controlling your behaviour and the words you speak out loud is much easier. There's a quote floating around on social media that purports to be from Buddha. I don't think that it is, but regardless of who said it, it's a great idea. And that is that before you open your mouth to speak, you should ask yourself if what you are about to say is true, necessary, or kind. And if not, essentially just keep your mouth shut. And I think it's really great advice, is it true, is it necessary, or is it kind? Because otherwise it's not helping anybody. It's similar to that advice that I'm sure many of us were told as a child that, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. And I try to live my life by that. I don't like brewing and stewing and stirring up negative energies and emotions, not only for myself, but for those I'm talking to or about. I'm aware of the influence of my thoughts and words and the effect that they have on the world and on others. So, I try to be quite mindful of it. Now, I must admit, I'm not very good at standing up for myself or articulating what is wrong when someone has hurt me or upset me. I always figure out the words much later when the opportunity to speak up is gone, or I just simply avoid doing it a lot of the time. I hate confrontations, and I think to my detriment in some cases, I often don't say what needs to be said so I can avoid a confrontation. This is something I'm working on and I'm working through, and I think that I fear how others will react, or that I will forget to say what needs to be said, or I won't articulate it very well, or I'll say something that will be misconstrued and I won't be able to take it back. But I am getting better at doing it, and as I get better at controlling my emotions and not letting them run away with me, I am getting better at speaking up for myself, to be honest. But how many of us have spoken words that have caused pain to others, or revealed things that we wished we could take back in heightened emotional states? But despite that, if I am ever upset or hurt by the actions of another, I do talk about it to some extent. I don't bottle it up. I do talk about it to some extent to work through it and to figure it out in my own mind how I feel about it, and to understand it more. A problem shared is a problem halved, as they say, but I try not to dwell on things. I try not to repeat it over and over and over. Because if you do, you're keeping that energy around you and you're reliving the experience over and over again, and you stop yourself from being able to move on and let it go. You are spreading the energy to those you were sharing it with, and you're projecting the energy to the perpetrator of the deed that hurt you. And you're making what was an event that just involved, say for example, two people, the implications of that are spreading to more and more and more people the more and more you talk about it, and that energy is spreading to them and affecting them in some ways. At some point we must decide that rather than just sending negative, spiteful thoughts back to the person that's hurt us, we need to take the higher road. As Gandhi famously said, an eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. Now, the way we talk to ourselves, I want to talk about now our inner dialogue, the words we say to ourselves. Now, these directly affect our emotions, our energies, our beliefs and our experiences of the world. It affects us emotionally and physically. Now, on a vibrational and cellular level, you just have to look at the results of the Emoto water experiments to see this in action. Again, this is something I've talked about in a previous episode because I just find it so fascinating and it's so true. Now, there's Dr. Emoto is a scientist in Japan who taped words to flasks of distilled water and froze them. Now, the water that had high vibrational words on them, like I love you, when frozen, created beautiful, symmetrical, very strong crystalline structures. Whereas the ones that had low vibrational words like I hate you and I want to kill you created very erratic, asymmetric, and therefore weak crystal shapes. Now, these experiments were repeated, I highly recommend that you go and have a little look, because they are really, really beautiful and it's really, really fascinating. But if you think that we are made up of, I think it's 80% water, then the words that we think that we've got whirring around our brains all the time, and the words that we speak, absolutely will have an effect on our physical bodies and our ability to heal, to hold on to wellness or illness. We have the ability to heal our body so profoundly if we change the way we think, and we change our thoughts, and we change our attitudes. We set ourselves up for success or failure depending on how we talk to ourselves. We become champions, or we remain victims depending on the words we use to talk to ourselves. And we can be financially abundant or financially poor, and depending on the words we speak to ourselves, we can feel the complete opposite. The things we say to ourselves directly affect our perception of the world and our place within it, and how we interact with it, and like I said, whether we're going to fail or succeed. Now, words to others. We must be very careful about the words we use when speaking to people. Not so much, well, obviously strangers as well, but we need to be particularly mindful when we are speaking to those whom we love and trust, who love and trust us, because our words sink in and become their beliefs. Now, the words we say to our children become their beliefs. The words we use towards them become their inner voice. And again, we can use them to build them up, or we can use them to tear them down. And, especially with children, we're setting them up for life. So we don't want them to have negative self-talk. We want them to think positively and to know what abundance and love lies out there for them. We don't want them to think they're unlovable, or that they're stupid, or they're not capable of things. We want them to know that they're capable of anything. The vast majority of problems in adults are as a result of a program or a limiting belief that they acquired in childhood. Things that hold us back in our lives are either a result of an event that took place or things that were said as we were growing up. This goes for partners and friends too. When someone we trust and love tells us that we aren't good enough, or we aren't capable of anything, or we are lacking in some way, we believe them. And in this way, many partners control and dominate their spouses or other halves. By making them believe things about themselves that are simply not true. I've been there. I was in a relationship where I was very much led to believe that I wasn't worthy of anything. I think in a bid to keep me where I was and to keep me controlled. But I got out of that thought process. I broke free of that thought process, and I became empowered and realised that it wasn't true, and that I was worthy of love, and that I was allowed to do things. But anyway, that's a whole subject for another day. So how do we go about breaking all of these behaviours and clearing these patterns and protecting ourselves from the thoughts and energies of others? It takes work, absolutely. A lot of these habits we've been doing for a very long time. Like I said, a lot of them we've had since childhood, but as long as we have awareness of them, then we can start to notice when we're doing them, or when we start having specific thought patterns or similar conversations, and we can change what we're doing. We can decide behaviors, we can choose to do them or not do them if we've got an awareness that we are doing them. With awareness, we can begin to replace negative self-talk with positive affirmations, and we can start listing things that we're grateful for, things we like about ourselves. If we look in the mirror and go, oh my God, you're so ugly, or you look really fat today, or or any of those things that women particularly say to themselves, say, okay, maybe I don't look that slim in this outfit, but God, my hair looks great today, and I really love how I've done my makeup, or I've got really great shoes. Start listing things that you really like about yourself, or that you've got going on in your life to counteract the negativity. Yeah, so we can make sure that when talking to our children, we are conscious of the words we speak, so not to program them with anything that they're going to have to recover from later in their life. Be aware of the negative programming that we have, and break the cycle. Don't pass it on, because a lot of the time the damage is caused to us by our parents is a result of damage caused to them by their parents, and if we have an awareness of that, then we can stop it in its tracks and not pass that on any further. If you have people in your life that speak negatively towards you, then really think about whether or not they deserve a place in your life, whether you really want them in your life, and if you can, step back and distance yourself from them. If there's someone that you can't release from your life, then you need to make sure that their words are not affecting you by building your own self-esteem and changing the way you think about them and their attitude towards you. For me, compassion is the key. As I said, what people say to you or about you often says more about them than it does about you. Try to work out their motives, why they're saying these things, what's going on with them that makes them this way. Like, what are they going through? Like I said, is it a result of their own upbringing or their own programming that's causing them to be like this? These questions and similar ones will make you realize that the flaw is not with you but with them. If you are really, really struggling with negative self-talk, then either start working on yourself through programs and books. Two that I can really, really recommend, that I absolutely adore. I Love Me by David Hamilton, and You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, both published by Hay House, both available on the internet. You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay is also available on audiobook, and I do believe that it is available on YouTube as well. And basically she set it up in a way that if you wanted, it's as if you were having like a one-to-one sessions with her. That's how this is set up. And so if you were going to work with her personally, if she was still with us now, of course, she's recently gone on to a higher vibrational place, but she wrote the book in a way that if you were having one-to-one sessions with her, this is how the program would go for you to heal your life. So it's really, really great. I highly recommend that. But if working on it yourself is just not possible, and you really can't get yourself out of the lull or the dip that you find yourself in, then I really recommend that you go to get help with working out the root causes of the thoughts that you have, and get help working through them, either with something like neuro-linguistic programming, or with a life coach, or someone who works with mindset, maybe a hypnotherapist, or any number of people that are out there now that specialize in releasing limiting beliefs and negative thought patterns, because there's nothing more valuable than your own happiness and well-being. Now, I want to finish quickly by saying that even if you believe there are people projecting negative thoughts towards you or not, it is a very good idea to practice protecting your own energy and your auric fields. We come into contact every single day with situations and people that are going to affect our energies, and we can protect our energy through very simple visualization exercises. Now, you can either imagine that you're wearing a suit of armor, or you're being surrounded by mirrors, or you can imagine a force field, like a bubble of energy around you that only allows positive vibrations through it. Now, I recommend that you do this each morning before leaving the house. If you forget to do it before you leave, then you can do it in the car, while you're walking to the bus stop, whatever it is that you do. There's so many times that I've done this as I've been sat at traffic lights or driving along, just visualizing the layers of protection that I put on myself. But it's particularly important if you're in a caring profession, or if you are in environments where there's lots of other people, or you're working in close proximity with other people, or you are in highly charged emotional environments as well, okay? Because not only will it affect your energy in terms of kind of zapping your energy and taking your energy away, but it also can really rattle your emotions, and particularly if you're very sensitive or empathic, that you can start to pick up and feel the emotions of others, whether you get upset or anxious or even fearful or angry. You can quite profoundly feel these emotions of other people, so it's important that you're cleansing as well, with white light. Imagine white light washing over you to take the negativity away. Or when you're in a shower, imagine the shower just washing all the negativity down the plug hole. That's a very important exercise to do as well for everybody. So yes, if you have any questions of any excuse me, I was doing so well. If you have any questions on any of this, then please get in touch, and I'll do my utmost to answer them and to help you in any way that I can. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that this has planted some mental seeds and has triggered you to be more careful with the thoughts that you're putting out there and the energy that you're putting out there. Remember, if you send out high vibes and positive expectations, then you will attract the same back to yourself. We attract what we focus on. So focus on happiness and abundance and prosperity. If there are people engaging in gossip and nasty talk around you, then just decide not to engage in it. Don't get involved. Don't bring that on yourself. But yeah, so thank you. If you've listened to this all the way through, then please give me a thumbs up to let me know if you've enjoyed it. Please leave a comment to let me know what you think, or if you have any questions, or just any observations or anything you'd like to add. And yes, please share this with your friends if you think they'll benefit from it. As I said at the beginning, this is episode 10. So if you would like to go back and listen to any of the other episodes, you can do so through my website, which is www.hollysholistic.co.uk. You can listen to it on SoundCloud, which is soundcloud.com /Holly's Holistic Healing, or on my YouTube channel, just search for Holly's Holistic Healing. Please come and follow me on social media if you don't already. Again, it's Holly's Holistic Healing on Facebook. I am at holistic_Holly on Instagram and Twitter. I'm particularly in love with my Instagram at the moment, so please come and check me out on there. I would love to connect with you. If you are interested in developing your understanding of your own spirituality and spiritual practices, or even your natural psychic abilities, then please come and join my Facebook group, Dawn of the New Age. The links to all of the stuff are on my website, and obviously my Facebook group is also linked to my Facebook page. So thank you again for joining me. I appreciate you so much. I hopefully will connect with you soon. So take care of yourself. Love, light, and many blessings. Yakida and namaste. Bye for now.